And now from around the state, your top stories on Wisconsin 360.
Well, good morning. I'm Phoebe Murray, and you are watching Wisconsin 360, a daily live stream bringing you a look at developing stories in markets all across the state, plus a live check of your first alert forecast here in southern Wisconsin. Today is May 7th. Here's a look at your top stories starting in Madison, and just into our newsroom. IKEA is coming to Madison with a new store set to open this fall. The new location will be in Prairie Town Center on Junction Road, about 54,000 square feet, with design experts on hand to help plan kitchens, bedrooms, and bathrooms. According to the store, shoppers will see about 5,000 items on display, plus a Swedish deli featuring meatballs, plant-based options, and cinnamon buns. In other headlines here this morning, Dane County officials are being asked to not release Julio Morales Jarquin from jail. He's a former caretaker accused of sexually assaulting two elderly women at an assisted living facility in Fitchburg. The Department of Homeland Security said that he is in the country illegally. Morales Jarquin faces 2 counts of second-degree sexual assault of an elderly victim. He allegedly assaulted 2 women at Dimensions Living in Fitchburg, including one woman who is living with dementia. Last week, U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement made the request to keep him detained. DHS officials say Morales Jarquin was released into the U.S. in 2023 from Nicaragua under the Biden administration's humanitarian parole program. He allegedly stayed in the country then illegally after the Trump administration eliminated that program last year. And this comes as his preliminary hearing was rescheduled yesterday. And now Adult Protective Services is providing resources for families who have loved ones over 60 years who have experienced abuse. So because of this case, we reached out to Adult Protective Services, who say they help families in Dane County if they are victims of any abuse.
These can be unique situations that they haven't faced before. And we want to make sure not only that the individual at risk is supported, but how too can we support a family member or loved one of that individual.
She said she did not object, and I believe she actually called off the witness based on.
Morales Jarquin did appear in court with a translator yesterday. He's scheduled with 2 counts of second-degree sexual assault of an elderly victim. If convicted, both of his charges carry a maximum penalty of 40 years. A snack mix sold at Target stores is being recalled over concerns about salmonella, so check your cabinets here this morning. The brands participating in this recall include Fisher Squirrel brand and Southern Style Nuts, as well as Good & Gather brand Mexican Street Corn Trail Mix. The company says this because the mixes contain a seasoning made by a third-party retailer supplier that contained dry milk powder, which was previously recalled over possible salmonella contamination. People who bought these products should return them to where they bought them for a refund or replacement. More than 1,500 people packed into Madison's new Center for Black Excellence and Culture for its long-awaited opening yesterday. You may have seen the construction at the site on West Badger Road. So after years of planning and fundraising, leaders behind the center officially welcomed the community into their new space. Organizers say the center was built to celebrate Black culture. The building will be used as a space for people to gather for performances, lectures, film screenings, and community events. Looking at the crowd yesterday, founder Reverend Dr. Alex G. Jr. says that vision was already coming to life.
Look at the beauty of the diversity of this crowd. Like, where do you go that you see this? And so to me, it just shows that people want to work together. They want to come to plays and film festivals and to hear lectures or comedians that just talk about life. So I'm just touched deeply.
Yeah, look at the crowd that turned out to get inside this 37,000 square foot building. There is a 280-seat performance theater, a recording studio, even a children's library. Those are the top stories that we're following here out of Madison, the capital city, on this Thursday morning. So now let's head to the Northeast for a check of the top stories coming out of Green Bay. Here's morning anchor Emerson Lehman.
Hi from Green Bay, I'm Emerson Lehman. FEMA teams are assessing damage in Waupaca and Outagamie counties caused by last month's historic flooding. When assessments are complete, the state will have until May 23rd to make a formal request to the White House for federal disaster declaration. These inspections mark the first step to determine whether our state will request aid. On Wednesday, FEMA teams went door to door in areas hit hard by flooding, including Fremont, New London, and Shiocton. Officials say crews are documenting and hearing directly from homeowners about the flooding, the cleanup, and the financial toll. One flood victim in Shiocton sharing his experience.
I stayed the whole time. I didn't want to lose didn't want to lose everything. My wife and I fought it really hard to maintain it at a manageable level. I've been staying in that garage for 4 weeks now, and it's getting kind of old, but we have it better than a lot of people. That's the way we keep looking at it.
If officials declare a disaster, homeowners and renters will be able to apply on their own for FEMA funding. And if there is damage, residents are told to take pictures and keep receipts of what has been damaged or repaired. They can also call 211. The Port of Green Bay closed to shipping until at least May 15th. The decision was made because of high water levels and fast-flowing water on the Fox River caused by heavy rain and snowmelt. The U.S. Army Corps of Engineers says it had to open the Nina and Menasha dam gates to release water from Lake Winnebago, creating these abnormally fast water flows. The disruption impacting spring cargo deliveries, with goods typically needing to be replenished following the winter season. Appleton says it started the process of ending the use of its flock safety cameras. Mayor Jake Woodford said on Wednesday this comes after taking into account city leaders' concerns as well as feedback from the community. The city is now looking at the terms of its deal with flock safety and is prepared to bring the issue to the full council if needed. The mayor adding in part, quote, examples of illegitimate use of flock data by personnel in other departments with access to the system reinforce accountability concerns that are not under the city of Appleton's control as a customer, end quote. That's what's making headlines here in Northeast Wisconsin. I'm Emerson Lehman. Have a great day, everybody.
Emerson, thank you. And for any more on those stories, you can go to their website, WBAY.com. You're watching Wisconsin 360. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back in 30 seconds with more top stories from across the state. Welcome back to Wisconsin 360. We're now going to head to Western Wisconsin for a check of their top stories on this Thursday morning. So here is morning reporter Kelsey Snitz.
This is a Wisconsin 360 News update from WAU 13 News. I'm Kelsey Snitz. The town of Bridge Creek is debating a proposed move to Eau Claire County zoning. That change could bring new rules and regulations to a previously unzoned town. Town officials say they want to avoid what they call land use conflicts, making sure that everyone has a say on what types of structures can be built in their neighborhoods. This comes as Wisconsin becomes a hotspot for AI data center construction, raising concerns about large developments, pollution, and energy use. At an open house last night, many residents are concerned that more regulation will prevent them from constructing on their private land. The town board says they are taking the process slowly and making sure every resident understands the pros and cons of county zoning.
We're trying to make sure that we use our resources wisely moving forward to the future, you know.
And that's a big thing, is what, saving it for future generations to come.
Right. That's, hopefully we have a plan moving forward. So it isn't just by day we're doing this. We've got a 10-year plan laid out.
No hearing for the proposal has been scheduled or planned. Another open house on the issue will be held this Saturday from 9 to 11 a.m. at the Bridge Creek Annex. The Chippewa County Board will soon vote on a 5-year agreement between the county and Chippewa Valley Music Festivals. The county has provided security for events like Hoofbeat, Rockfest, and Force Fields for years. And if this contract is approved, that would continue with some slight changes. According to the Chippewa County Administrator, the original agreement said union deputies need to be paid double for overtime for non-government contracts. Per a festival request, that rate has been amended to require the company to reimburse the county at just 1.5. Changes would also allow the sheriff to decide how many deputies are needed at different times of the day. Both issues were sore points on last year's bill.
The festival disputed about $30,000 of those charges related to overstaffing at one of the events and then paying the double time rate for Rockfest. And so ultimately the county board waived about $30,000 of those costs earlier this year.
The Chippewa County Board is scheduled to vote on the agreement next Tuesday, May 12th at 6 p.m. That's their regular meeting. U.S. Senator Tammy Baldwin stopped in Eau Claire to highlight efforts to address the housing crisis in Wisconsin. Baldwin's visit comes after the Senate passed the 21st Century Road to Housing Act with bipartisan support. The legislation will help bring down housing costs and rein in corporate landlords from buying single-family homes. Baldwin says out-of-state companies are not maintaining the properties they own here in the Badger State and still raising rent.
If you have a neighborhood where dozens, if not hundreds of homes have been bought up like that, it doesn't feel like a neighborhood anymore. It's very transient. The property owners aren't taking care of the property, and it can devastate neighborhoods. It can devastate communities. So we think there should be a limit on how many homes a private equity or big corporation investor can own.
Baldwin adds this issue is not unique to Wisconsin. It's happening across the nation. The bill still needs to be taken up and passed by the House chamber before it can reach the president's desk and be signed into law. That's a check of your news headlines in Western Wisconsin.
Kelsey, thank you. For any more on those stories, you can head to their website, weau.com. All right, let's head to North Central Wisconsin for the top stories out of Wausau. Here's morning anchors Aaron Taylor and Cassandra Cepeda from Channel 7.
Good morning from Wausau. I'm Cassandra Cepeda.
And I'm Aaron Taylor. The Wisconsin DNR continues to monitor a manure spill near Athens. Tuesday, they were notified of the spill at Deer Creek Holsteins. The cause of the leak was a failed valve on a waste transfer system. It's unclear how much manure spilled. The DNR is working with the Marathon County Conservation Department to monitor the situation. The same farm had a manure spill back in January. Well, we can now show you the beagles rescued by Fetch, Foster, and Rescue here in Wausau. The rescue took in the 25 dogs on Monday, and now they're being rehabilitated. They were part of the 1,500 rescued from the research facility Ridgeland Farms in Dane County. The founder of Fetch Fosters tells us the pups are receiving around-the-clock care while awaiting medical treatment and neutering. Many already have approved homes once they're medically clear.
Wausau native and entrepreneur is getting a moment to let his business shine, and you can watch him this weekend on Project Pitch It right here, News Channel 7. Brad Steckert is the founder and CEO of Sit By Me. It's a social app hoping to connect people in real life instead of swiping on your phone. All it takes is a few short taps to see who around you is open to having a conversation or sharing a table. It's an idea he says can reduce the loneliness epidemic.
75% of Americans reported being lonely in 2025. That is a lot of people feeling lonely. And so the other kind of problem that we see a lot with cafes and bars is there are just hours of the day that are underutilized. And so Sit By Me tackles both the loneliness epidemic and the practical problem of unused cafe space.
His episode of Project Pitch It airs this Saturday night immediately after News Channel 7 at 10. It'll air again Sunday morning on the CW at 10:30. You can learn more about Sit By Me on our website, wsaw.com.
Tonight, the Community Center of Hope Food Pantry in Mosinee is hosting an open house. You can check it out from 4 to 5:30. If you plan to go, they're also hosting a donation drive. You're encouraged to bring personal hygiene and cleaning products to the open house. Well, you can check out a new bike course at Depke Park in Rib Mountain.
The Village says it's showing off as part of its 70th year of National Bike Month. One Village Park commissioner says they hope the new course gets people out to enjoy nature. With help from the community, they've laid out a 3/4 mile gravel course. They hope it's a preview of the fun coming to the area this summer.
We've got the Wausau United mountain bike team for kids 6th grade and older, and they are starting up in July. And then, of course, the big event of the year is the Wausau 24 race, 24-hour bike race at 9 Mile, and that's July 25th.
He says they're also excited for a new walking and biking trail, which will wrap all the way around Rib Mountain.
That's a look at the top stories from across north central Wisconsin.
Erin and Cassandra, thank you. For more on those stories, you can head to their website, WSAW.com. That's it for the top stories on Wisconsin 360 this May 7th. I'm signing off, but stick around. Chief Meteorologist Charlie Shortino will join you just after this break and detail your first alert forecast, not only for today, but a look ahead to Mother's Day weekend, graduation weekend here in Madison for all those UW grads as well. Have a great day.
All right, it is first alert weather time, and we have a forecast for you as well as travel and a weekend forecast. Let's get to it. We've had some clouds make their way in. It was clear most of the night, and that had led to some pretty chilly temperatures and a frost advisory, but we are rising now. We're going to top off around 60, a half a dozen degrees below average. Low this morning was down to 30, so indeed there was some frost in the Madison area. May even be a few flakes of snow flying north of Madison early this morning. We do have an outside shot, only a slight chance of picking up a shower today. You can see a little bit of that showing up. This precipitation, which is scattered and very light, is due to an upper level disturbance that's going to pass through the area over the next 8 hours or so, and we'll have to keep at least a slight chance of a sprinkle in the forecast during the afternoon. 44 degrees right now, mostly cloudy, but if you look in the background, you can see at least a few streaks of blue. South-southeasterly wind is blowing at 7 miles per hour. Here are the rest of the temperatures, most of them now in the 40s. We do, though, have a 50-degree temperature at Prairie du Chien, and it is 39 in Partyville and 36 in Beaver Dam. have a warm front developing to the south of here, but the precipitation that you see is being caused more by that upper level feature, a little spin in the upper levels of the atmosphere. That is going to head off to the south and east. Today's high 60. We'll say partly cloudy. At times it may be mostly cloudy, but there'll be at least a little sun shining through. A little warmer than yesterday. High temperatures upper 50s and lower 60s. Tonight, not quite as cold. There may be a few areas of frost north of here, but most spots will be mid to upper 30s for the overnight lows. After that, 68 the high tomorrow with sunshine, a couple degrees above average. 71 Saturday, biggest number on the 7-day forecast. Partly cloudy skies, slight chance of a shower. A lot of sun Sunday and Monday. Temperatures come back a bit. Those sprinkles and light showers Saturday due to a passing cold front that will drop the temperatures off a bit. Longer range models, though, are indicating that by the end of next week, we will be back above average with highs in the 70s. So that is our forecast for today. We are going to take a detailed look at the weekend forecast as well as the travel forecast after this short break. All right, we are back, and as promised, we are going to take a look at the travel forecast across the nation. And as of right now, we have some rain along the east coast. We have our little disturbance. You can hardly see the precipitation, but there is a little bit there. The air is quite dry, or at least relatively dry over the central part of the nation. Most of the west is pretty quiet and pretty warm, well above average temperatures from the Canadian border to the Mexican border across that entire region. Another little disturbance is going to pass by well to the south of here, and I think we're going to see some rain for the lower Mississippi Valley heading into the weekend. There's that brief shower that I was talking about on Saturday passing through, and then dry weather with sunshine is anticipated on Sunday. Hopefully by the end of next week, we're going to start to shift the weather pattern a bit and get back into some milder conditions. Houston getting some rain right now. Airport delays reported there. San Francisco and Las Vegas, bad data points. Here is the weekend forecast. And again, we'll have quite a bit of sunshine coming up for the weekend. Some reasonably mild temperatures. Our average highs are in the mid 60s, so at least a couple days we will be above average before we drop off a bit on Sunday. Pretty quiet through the weekend to the north of here as well. A little cooler for Door County with the lake on three sides. Weekend forecast looking fairly quiet to the northwest of here as well. High temperatures in the 70s on Friday in both the Twin Cities and Eau Claire, then 60s after that. To the south of here, flirting with the 80-degree mark on Saturday in Davenport, and then about a 10-degree temperature drop between Saturday and Sunday for areas to the south of here. So that is your forecast and weekend forecast for today. We will be back at 4:30 this afternoon with another streaming show, again at 8:15, and I will be back tomorrow morning at the same time. Until then, have a great day.